All right. Assalamu alaikum and very good morning to everyone. And good morning, Taste Parataliza.
This morning.
First of all, I would like to welcome you all to this webinar series. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Uthman Abdullah, and I'm a final year student at Massa University under the Faculty of Engineering and Built Environment. I'm currently pursuing a Bachelor in Electrical and Electronics Engineering, and I will be moderating this webinar. It is a great pleasure for me to introduce our speaker today, who is going to talk to us about the radio frequency identification technology in the new era. Before we begin, let me briefly introduce our speaker background. Our respected speaker today is T.S. Noor Azaliza Ahmad. She is currently serving as a Deputy Dean in Faculty of Engineering and Built Environment, Massa University. She is recognized by Malaysia Board of Technologists as a professional technologist in electrical and electronics technology. Her expertise is on antenna design, nanotechnology, electromagnetic applications, semiconductor reliability, and semiconductor and failure analysis. She has published several international and national papers in academic journals and conference proceedings. So if you have any questions or comments, please type in the chat area. It will be answered in the Q&A section. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please join me in welcome T.S. Noor Azaliza Ahmed to our webinar. Welcome, T.S. Noor Azaliza. The floor is yours.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Osman Muslim, my lovely students, for the introduction about me. So before we start for our introduction for today, so I would like to have some overview about our faculty, which is that in Massa University, we have a Faculty of Engineering and Built Environment, which is that we have 6 departments right now, which is we have electrical electronics engineering, we have civil engineering, we have mechanical engineering, we have IT, and also we have quantity surveyor, and also the new one is the architecture. So this is our faculty, which is that we are in one together, then to make sure that we are in the IR 4.0. So let's talk about our webinar today. I know that most of you will be asked about what is the RFID, what is the working principle, how it works, and then before you go further about the RFID, I'm pretty sure that you will see that what is the meanings of the RFID. So maybe we can see this is my name that they have an introduction from the Osman. Thank you. Then we go for the next slide. Okay, so this is the things that we will cover for our webinar series for this year. So for today, we will go for the first, we want to see the definitions of the RFID technology. Okay, what is this, the RFID stand for? And then go for the evolution, right? So evolution, how the RFID come from, and then it start when, and the working principle. And for sure, after we go for working principle, we want to go for main component, all right? And then we go for the application. So we want to see that they have a lots of application that we can use in the RFID technology. And the last one is the challenges by using the RFID technology. Okay, go for the next slide. Okay, as we know, RFID, always they say about RFID. So we need to know about the meanings of the RFID, which is that this is the radio frequency identification. So this radio frequency identification is they are using the electromagnetic, which is the EM field, that automatically will be track the tags attached to the object. Okay, so this is the main definitions of the RFID. And as we know that this one is more to the wireless and the non-contact of the use of the radio frequency EM field, that will be transferred the data, the purpose of the automatically identify and tracking tags to the assets. And as we know that for the tags, it actually can be tracked. Okay, then they have several feet away within the direct line of sight of the reader. Basically, they will always ask what is the the difference between the RFID and the barcode. Okay, if we can see the barcode is actually we can see the difference of the technology. If we are using the RFID technology, which is that we see that we always already use the EM, which is electromagnetic technology. So based on that, they are no need to have the clear offside. What it means of the clear offside, which is that the transmitter and receiver must be line offside. But this one, it doesn't matter. But make sure the frequency must be tally with what we want to design. So actually, if we want to see the RFID technology, they can detect, they can scan a rate up to 700 objects per second. So this is the RFID technology. So we go for the next slide. As I mentioned earlier, they have the electromagnetic spectrum that we want to, as we know also for the RFID, also inside of the electromagnetic spectrum. Then you can see in the orange color, they have in the radio wave. So the radio wave consists of the low frequency and also high frequency and ultra high frequency. For each of these frequency, they have certain application and they have certain distance that we can see that we can go before we design the RFID. So we need to learn more about this later on. So actually for the electromagnetic spectrum is actually, they will be composed of the various frequency of wave and that are produced using electromagnetic energy. So as we know, RFID is the radio frequency. So pretty sure they have certain range of the frequency that can go in the RFID. So we can go for the next slide. Thank you. So for this one, this is the evolution of the RFID. So if you can see the evolution of RFID, we start in 1945, which is that they have World War II. So this is actually how they all the researchers try to have the RFID technology. And then start in 1973, they will start with the first RFID tag. So RFID tag, they start with the active tag. So you will ask me about what is the active tag. Active tag later on, we will see how is it. Then after 1973, they are keep on going for the RFID to see that how they can go further, especially how they want to go for more distance and then they want to make it fast. So if 1990, they will start with the UHF, which is the ultra high frequency RFID. So from there, once they have developed these things, all the application, which is that such as maybe they want to use in the construction, manufacturing, healthcare, they will be widely used for the RFID technology. So they are keep on updating for the RFID technology. And as we know, even though in Malaysia also we have a lot of RFID researcher still keep on doing their research to make sure to improve the RFID technology. Okay, next slide. So this is actually the working principle of the RFID technology. So if you can see from this slide itself, they have four main components, all right, which is that we need to have consist in the RFID system. First of all is the RFID tag. Okay, RFID tag is very small. It will be depends that which frequency that you are using. All right, so this one, they will be attached to asset. Asset, it means that it doesn't matter that what kinds of things that you want to track. So you need to put it attached together into the assets, and then there will be transmit store to the antenna. So the antenna will be linked together with the RFID tag to make sure they will be receive the stored data from the tag and transmit that the data to end the RFID reader. So after that, once they have one RFID reader, so they will be connected to the antenna wirelessly. So it doesn't matter where they want to put, but they have certain distance that we need to take about, and then receive the data from the RFID tag. And the last is computer database. This computer database is actually how we want to store our data, which is that for sure that we will have the RFID database, and then they will be evaluated. It depends on what kinds of the application that we want to use in the RFID technology. So next slide. Okay, so this is the, as I mentioned from the previous slide, so this is the RFID reader. So RFID reader is actually, they have connected that to the antenna and receive data from the RFID tag. Okay, so this is actually, there will be converts the radio wave, Okay, radio wave, if you can still remember for the electromagnetic spectrum that I showed to you just now, so they have converts into a digital data. So that's this digital data will go for the computer database. All right, this is the next element. So in the RFID reader, they have two types of the RFID reader. So the RFID reader, they have ones, they will go for the fixed reader, and another one will be mobile. So the fixed it will be mounted to wall, or maybe they will be static at the one place, and another one is the mobile. So mobile reader is actually is will be handheld, or maybe they can carry out anywhere. So this is for the RFID reader. So if we go for the next, which is the another component, is the RFID tag. So most all the researcher of the RFID, they go for the RFID tag. So RFID tag is actually we want to have more improvement on the RFID tag. So actually, is the RFID tag is the store and transmit the data that needs that they do this here. So that is the things that we want to make sure that is it your tag is active or passive. So we will see into that. All right. So this is actually there will be have the programmable also for the RFID tag. So come into the antenna. Antenna is actually a necessary element in the RFID system because they will transmit the RFID text data to the reader. Okay, so this is the main important things that antenna will transmit. So without these types of the RFID antenna, whether they will be integrated or stand alone, this is the RFID reader cannot correctly send and receive the signals to RFID tag. So you can just imagine. So in the then we have the receiver and also the transmitter. So make sure there will be have the antenna to make sure that we can transmit and then they can have the data to the reader. So and the last one is the computer database. So for the computer database is actually there will be requires of the computer database to process the data store. Is the process data store is actually is from the RFID reader, which is the RFID reader already converts from the radio wave into the digital data. Then from there, the software can program into the text, or maybe they manage the device and also the data. So this one is will be depends. They will be evaluated, and then there will be depends that what kinds of the output that you want. So this is come from the computer database. So can we go for the next slide? All right, so this is that I mentioned earlier because they have the RFID tags. There are a lot of researcher go for the RFID tags, which is that they have a lot of enhancement. Okay, then a lot of improvement for this one, which is that we have the RFID tag is almost is most simply sticks form and compromise of the two parts. Okay, the ones they will be antenna for transmitting and receiving signal, and also they have RFID chip, which is that store the tag ID and other information. Okay, so this one, the data to a reader should deal with the different frequency. So we did a different frequency. If you can still remember for the electromagnetic spectrum, even though for the radio wave, also they have certain is they have the low frequency, they have high frequency, and also they have ultra high frequency. So they are categorized according to the frequency at which they are designed to be operated. So it will be depends on the what kinds of the application that you want to go into it. So we go for the next. All right, if this is the main components of for the RFID tags, all right, so this is if you can see they have a lot of types of the RFID tags, which is that you can see paper tag, and then you can see EPC tag, which is this one is the electronic product code, or we have inlay tag, we have button tag. I think I'm pretty sure that you always use this RFID in our daily life. For example, if you go to the mall, so pretty sure they have a lot of tags that will be consist of this tag into the clothes. All right, there will be depends on the application. They have button tag, metal tag, glue tag, key tag. All right, key tag especially they're used in the for the car, and the glass tube tag is actually for the animal tracking, and ear tag also. All right, and then ceramic tag, distinct tag, and pocket tag. All right, so we will see how the each of this will be have their different application. So we go for the next slide. So for this RFID tags, as I mentioned it before, so they have categorized into three parts, three types of RFID tag. First is the active tags, all right, semi-passive tag, and passive tags. All right. So for this one, for first we go for the active tag. So active tag is powered on by the battery, and we can see they have a very long distance. All right, very long distance, which is that they can capture at this certain distance. All right, and then before we capture that certain distance, we need to make sure that which frequency that they're related to that. And then we have semi-passive tags, which is also powered by the battery. And then the text is actually reflects to the radio signal to communicate its information to the reader. And the last one is the passive text. So passive text is always they are using in passive text, which is that this one is we are no need to have the battery. Actually, this one is powered by the radio signal. How they got the radio signal is actually from our reader. So this is that reflects to the radio signal to communicate its ID to the reader. Okay, go for the next. So if you can see from this pyramid, so this is for, it will be easy for you to understand, and that if you want to design your RFID tag, for example, which one that you want to choose, either active or passive. All right. So for example, a very good example, which is that active and passive. First thing is you can see at the bottom one is life of the active tag is 5 to 10 years. And the life of the passive tag is up to 20 years. So before you design, you see that the reliability and also the limitation of your design. And also we can see that for the RFID active or passive, you need to say that the tag battery, is it you want to use tag battery, is it they have need the battery? So if you need the battery, for sure you need to use the active RFID. And also they have a lot of things that you need to think before you go for active and passive. Okay, so if you can see for the power for active RFID is continuous. All right, they will be continuous because you need to make sure you charge your tag to make sure that they will be transmit all the signals to the reader. But for the passive, it's actually only in field of the reader. So this is the things that is quite contra with the active and passive. So as I said, it will depends which frequency that you are choosing, and also what kinds of types that you want. Is it active or passive? Okay, now go for the next slide. Okay, for this one, this is the operating frequency range. So operating frequency range for the RFID tags. So they have three types. Okay, they have three operating frequency range. First is the low frequency tags, which is that they come with the 125 kilohertz into 134 kilohertz. All right, so this one, the range of this, the read range, okay, the read range which is that they can capture for the RFID tag and the reader is 10 centimeter. And this one is the advantage for this one, which is that they are not affected by the water or metal. Okay, and this is the lowest data transfer rate, which is this is the application for the animal tracking. Why animal tracking? Because you can see there are animal tracking always have the water and it's still humid, right? So that's why we need to have something the tag that will be reliable, which is that this is for the low frequency for the tag. So this one is for also for the access control, which is that you can see for all the ID that you have, and the asset tracking, and also the healthcare. So we go for the next, which is the high frequency tags. So high frequency tags, as we can see, is 13.56 megahertz. Okay, so once they go for the high frequency, the read range also will be increased, which is that they will go for the 1 meter. So this one is actually they will be easily read while attached to the object. It doesn't matter, it will be content of water, tissue, metal, woods, or liquid. All right, so this is for the high frequency. This is the things that we are always use these kinds of tag in the library books. okay, which is that if your library have installed for the RFID system for the to manage to can see how the books and then the shelf. So this is the things of the library books, personal ID card, airline baggage, and also the credit card. Okay, credit card also a part of it. So that's why if you can see that this is to make sure that your frequency for your RFID tags must be accurate into this frequency, which is that they can transmit, because this one is the radio wave. All right, the radio wave that we have for the transmitter and also the receiver. And the last one is the ultra high frequency tags. So ultra high frequency tag is actually is come from the 860 to 960 megahertz. Okay, there will be already increased. There will be a range up to 10 to 15 meter. They already increased, right? So this one is a very high data transmission rate, long read range, and there will be low cost. And because if you can imagine the tag will be very small and very thin. Okay, so this is for the application. They are always used in the supply chain tracking for sure. Supply chain want to have a very fast output, report everything. Then where is the goes for all the order everything. So they are using the RFID management system, and also for the manufacturing, construction, and also for the pharmacies. And the last one is the electronic tolling. Okay, we go for the next slide. So this is the things that application, we go for the next subtopic, which is the applications of the RFID technology. So this is a part of the RFID tag. So we can see from the picture from this slide, you can say they have a lot of the application that we are using in RFID. If you can see even the logistic, okay, the logistic, they are using the RFID, which is that can trace where is the order or where is the things, okay. And also even the smart hospital, all right, the construction, then we have a lots of things that, yeah, they are using of the RFID, even though for the manufacturing. So this is always we can see that the RFID technology will be um, always keep on changing, because that one we use the terms technology. So based on this one, we can see that we can see RFID is for tracking. So where is um, the object that you want to trace. Okay, we go for the each of the application that we want to discuss further. Okay, we go for the next. So we go for the first one, which is that healthcare. So the healthcare, if you can see from the slide, so actually this application is have potential to save the significant resources, which is that we can improve, okay, we can improve the patient care. If you can see from the picture, especially they have the access point and also the RFID reader. So for the tag, for the RFID tag, it will be depends that which area that you want to control, which area that you want to track, that will be based on that. So, and also if you can see from the slide before, for the healthcare is actually is more about in the low frequency, okay, low frequency RFID tag. So it means that there will be have a very short distance, but the thing is you can see that the tracks, they will be depends, okay. So if you can see from the hospital, they can track the where is the patients, or for the medical equipment, okay, medical equipment, which is that where that you want to calibrate, and then everything, etc. And also physician and nurse also we can track where is it, and also for the medicine. So this RFID is we embed it together with the IoT. As of now, we have the IoT, which is we want to go for IR 4.0, which is that the doctor is cannot, they will be easily to see from the system itself, then can see how much that the inventory we have, and then how about the patient. So this is the things that we can go do in the healthcare. So we can go for the next. All right, so this is another applications for the RFID technology. I know this one is will be have a lot of things that will be uh, asking about this RFID technology, okay, which is that the RFID tags. So if you can see from this figure, okay, so we call this one is under electronic toll collection, which is that we aims to eliminate the delay the tolls by collecting tolls by electronically. So RFID is already come into in place, which is that we want to make sure that there will be capture. All right, so if you can see from this picture, all the car is actually is already plugged into the RFID tag. So RFID tags, this is the types of the passive RFID tags. So it means that once you have your car already have the RFID tag, so they will be have the capture for from the antenna and also the reader at the tool. So once they will be captured, so you can go through into the tool. So at the same time, this one to make sure, as I say, this one is under UHF. So UHF RFID tag, which is ultra high frequency. So it's very sensitive to the metals or liquid. So make sure that once you install in the RFID tags into your car, make sure you need to have to check either this one is can be used or not cannot, because if that case there will be have some problems during your go into the toll. So this is the things that at the same time they have a lot of issue on that. So make sure the tag S will be put into your car correctly, and then the they will be easy for the reader to capture the tag. And then at the same time, once they already transmit and then receive the data, then you can see that they have deductions of your e-wallet, etc., whatever the system that we have. So there will be no need to go anywhere. So you can just go pass by into the tool. Okay, this is for one another application for the RFID technology. Then we can go for the next. Next is more about the access control. So access control is anyone will use this one. Okay, if you want to go for the door access, all right, doesn't matter that if you want to have the smart home and everything, for sure they will be included in the RFID technology. So this RFID is actually will be used a system of tags, reader, and also computer server to make sure they will be allowed, okay, the door access, okay, or any pre-registered residents, okay, who present with the correct credentials. So it means that for each of the ID card, there will be have the numbers. So from the number itself, there will be recognized into the data, okay, the text and also the reader that they can go into the computer server. So if you use the RFID access control system, okay, resident can hold their credentials. Okay, usually you can see they are using the key fob or card. All right, it will be depends which 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 type that they want to use, and then up to the reader. So then the system will be used only on the several radio frequency to establish a connection between the reader and the text. So they will be see that is it they want to go for the low frequency, high frequency, or ultra high frequency. Okay. So basically they will can go for the high frequency. We'll go for the next slide. So, and also this one is the same, which is that personal tracking where in the security and control, which is that most of everyone got this ID. All right. So this ID is actually to track of the staff. Okay. Staff, contractor, and vendors. Because this one is more about the security. So we can see that the movement, and then for each of the area you can see, you can put the reader. So from the reader itself, so you can see, okay, this certain time they have the persons already passed by into that area. So this is for the high security location with the restricted zones. So RFID tracking is the most cost efficient. Okay, there will be effective way to track the movement, all the personnel and asset between the points of interest. So this is you can see they have a lot of area that already use this one because they will be easy to use and install. Okay, we can go for the next. Then this one is about the library RFID management system. All right, if you can see, this one is very wonderful. You have everything inside this one. Everything they already have their tag. So once they have their tag, for example, they have in the book drop, in the self management, self check in and out, anti theft detections, tagging, check in and out. So this is the area which is they already have the tag. So once they have the tags, so only the reader where that you want to place it. So everything this one is they can be used in the library, which is this is the latest technology that will be for the library theft detection system. All right. So once you already tag into the counter, you want to borrow this book. So everything's they already put in their system, the reader already capture into their tag, and then go for the computer server. Everything you can go not smoothly out, which because they already captured, then they will be easy to monitor. All right, and also you can see how many books here. So this is for each of the books already have their own RFID tags. All right, so maybe it will be you can see or cannot see, it's actually they already embed. All right, so this is for the library RFID management system. Then we can go for the next, which is that we have warehouse. Okay, warehouse also is almost the same like the library. Everything they have their own checkpoint. Okay, for own their checkpoint, which is that factory warehouse. Okay, the this one for the assets tracking. So actually you want to distribute and track the cargo accurately and instantly. So this one we can use at the same time parallelly. So actually for the large businesses and the corporation may also use the tech important information technology devices to make sure that they will be have the quick location. Okay, and this one they always to make sure that to keep track on the assets and also to the supply chain to analyze the efficiency. Okay, so this is for the warehouse. Okay, we have another two applications that we want to discuss further. So we can go for the next, which is the animal identifications and the tracking. You can see they have a lots of types for the animal identifications. This one, if we can have the smart farming, all right, so they will be easy for us to monitor how many. Okay, for example, even though that if you have pets, all right, so there will be have a lot of types that will be follow for the RFID technology. First, you can see RFID animal ear tag. So you can see the cow they have in the ear. Okay, they put the tag. All right, and then they have implanted so the RFID animal microchip that I can see. I just informed you the glass tube. All right, the types of the glass tube they put in the ear. So you can see the dog here. So that you can monitor your animal, and also for the birds. All right, so the birds they put in their RFID pigeons food ring. They put in the food to will be easy for us to track. And there are another one also RFID epoxy tags, which is that this one especially for your pets. All right, so they will be easy for you to trigger. Where is it? Okay, so there will be have a very good good technology. All right, even the animal also we can put into the RFID because any for the RFID tags is very thin and small. So this one is actually can be completed without the physical contact, and this is good for anti interference performance and the long service life. So it's very suitable for use the harsh environmental conditions such as for the animal and the transportation of the agriculture. So for the last, we go for the agriculture application. Okay, so this is agriculture application. So as of now, this is me and also Osman doing the research. Okay, for the agriculture that we want to manage to have the how we want to monitor for the one is for the inventory. So inventory, which is that how many plants that we have, and then how it so we can monitor from our computer server. And also they have access door. All right, access door, that one is that I just showed to you just now, which is that they have the access door for the access tracking. And this is another one which is that we can try to improve for RFID technology efficiency, which is that we want to improve from the RFID tag itself. We can see that CO2, and then we can see the humidity, all right? So from the RFID tag itself. So if you can see from the slide just right now, you have plants, all right? This one already embed in the RFID tag. So the RFID tag already embed into the plants. So will be depends on what types of the RFID tags that you want. There will be depends of the plants. Okay, so and also this one they will be go for the at UHF tags, or maybe if you want to go for high frequency also, it will be depends which is that which distance that you want, then you can fix into your frequency. So this one, by placing the RFID tags into the agriculture, you can, the farmers is actually will be easy to determine the health conditions of the product rather than they just need to go one by one. You can imagine if you have 1,000 plants, that is it you want to do one by one. So for example, if you have the reader, so the reader will be plus into one place, then you can see all the results of your plants. Okay, so this is also for the health condition and also the inventory. So this is for the agriculture. We are still on research on this one for agriculture with the RFID. So we hope that the actually this one RFID also can be monitored to the climate condition. So this is another one area that we want to do for our research. Okay, so then we go for the challenges with the RFID. So the challenges of the RFID, you can see from the next slide. So we distribute into three types. Okay, LF is the low frequency, high frequency, ultra high frequency. So for sure, for each of the technology, they have their own pro and cons. They have their advantages and disadvantages. For example, if we go for the low frequency, can see that they have can communicate base very best with the items containing water or metal. All right, so this is the things that I say that we can use for the animal tracking, which is that for sure there will be have a water, there will be high humidity. But the disadvantages for this is actually is the large tag size due to the bulky antenna coils, because you can see the RFID is something like it's like a coils. All right, then there will be higher tag costs. Okay, this is very high. And then there will be limited capability to read the multiply text at the same time. So this is for the low frequency. Okay, for the low frequency, as we can see, they have also a very short distance, but they have some limitation capability to read the multiple of text at the same time. So we go for the next, which is the high frequency. High frequency text, which is that the tag can be flat levels, and then some with the 1 centimeter diameter, which is very thin. Then it's a very lower cost if we are compared to the low frequency. But the thing is, they have the disadvantage, which is that they are difficult to read the multiple high frequency text at the same time. So that is the also because everything you already put in slide, right? So it's a very thin, so they're very difficult for us to capture for the tag. Then the last one is UHF. The high end is a UHF. So UHF is actually is there will be increasing the diversity in tag size for tagging, or there will be have tagging slides or tissue blocks, which is very thin, and then it's a very good capability to read multiple UHF tags at the same time. So you can see UHF already cover for the low frequency and high frequency, which is that can capable to read multiple, okay, multiple tags at the same time. And the advantage for this one, even though this is the high end, but the cost is very lower compared to low frequency and high frequency. Okay, so for sure that I say just now, if they have the advantage, for sure they have this advantage, which is that they have the typically does not function well when surrounded by the high water or metal content. So like I said, if you have the tag in under UHF tag, all right, make sure if you want to install your tag is make sure it's not surrounded by the high water or not at the metal. If not, there will be block, and then you can the reader cannot transmit everything they cannot do for the transmitter, the read the signals, everything. So that's why this is the disadvantage for UHF. And also another one is actual frequency varies by different country. So for our, they have certain different countries. So I would advise, for example, if you do in Malaysia, you can use the frequency that I shared just now. For a certain country, they have different. So there will be depends that if you want to go, you go to the global for the frequency. All right, they have certain frequency that you need to fix because this is the for the UHF. So this is the disadvantages. So maybe I would like to go for the summary. I just want to wrap up before we finish our talk for today, which is that okay, I just we can see they have three the parts of the RFID system. They have tag, they have reader, and also they have antenna, and they have the frequency range that you will see. They have the low frequency, high frequency, and ultra high frequency. So then they have certain frequency and also certain distance that they can read. And this RFID also can be either active or passive. And also they have another one is semi-passive. So active is actually they have their own battery, but for passive you can see they're using the ID card, which is that can power source or the power by reader. And the application that I just now I give multiple types of the application that we can use the RFID technology, but we keep on growing what kinds of the application that we can use under RFID, which is now just now they have asset tracking, interactive marketing, attendee tracking. Okay, so as of now, this is basically what is the introduction of the RFID in the new era. Thank you. I pass back to the Osman.
Thank you, Tesnor Azaliza Ahmad, for an entertaining and enlightening presentation on the radio frequency identification technology in the new era. Please, if you have any question, you can just drop it in the chat box. I will pass it to the speaker and she will answer it. Just a second, let me.
Do they have any questions?
Some questions here. One asked, roughly, what is the cost for each tags, the different frequencies, LF, HF, or UHF, RFID tags?
Okay, yeah, they're asking about the cost.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, basically the cost I cannot directly say that how much the cost. I can just give the example, which is that currently that we use for UHF. Okay, UHF is for the RFID tags that we are using in the car is around 55 ringgit. So if you can see that from my previous slide for the comparison, the ultra high frequency UHF is quite the lower cost compared to low frequency and high frequency. So we can estimate that what is the high frequency and also the low frequency. So it means that there will be depends on the supplier. So which is that what kinds of the price that we can see. But I can just based on the research that I will see that the low frequency and the high frequency is quite expensive compared to the UHF, because UHF is very lower cost, and then and also they are very thin.
Thank you for answering that question. Another question, how does the radio frequency detect individualized unique identification tags?
Okay, so which is that there will be how they detect into the access. Is it access card? Can you just repeat again?
It's not that clear, but how does the radio frequency detect like individual tags? I think we will agree.
All right. Okay. So if let's say for how they will be detected, they will be depends on the frequency. So as I said, in the tags, okay, there we have the certain frequency, which is either LF, HF, high frequency, or UHF. So once I just give a very simple simple example, which is that how the RFID works. For example, like this, we have tag. Okay, the tags is actually already have the RFID. Okay, the RFID tag. Okay, so from this RFID tags, okay, for example, we have the I want to access door to my office. So they have the reader over there. So the reader is actually the things that they will put there. So once I because this one is the passive. All right. So this is the passive tag. So once the passive tag, for sure that they don't have no need to have the battery, but they need to have the fields from the reader. So once I jump into the reader, so there will be capture. So from the capture from the antenna, from the tag, and also the reader, so the data will be transmit, as I said, for the radio, for the so for the reader will be converts for the radio wave into digital to the our computer server. So from there, we will capture so what times that I already clock in, for example. So this is the very basic examples that you can see from the slide.
Thank you, Tisma Rosalisa, for answering the questions. And also thank you to everyone for those watching this webinar, and have a nice day.
Thank you.
Thank you.